you mentioned that you cannot replace therapy with any chatbot, and there's a gap that I don't know how you fill this gap, or how do you work based on this gap? Because when you're going to therapy, your therapist is looking at you. He can see
Hmm.
how do you react physically. He can see your emotions, and how are you dealing with this, knowing that you cannot have this? Like, how are you feeling this gap? How are you?
It's a great question, right? I think, we have to be honest about what Ash is and what it isn't. Ash is not a therapist. It does not claim to be a therapist. We don't want it to, right? I think that pretense can be really harmful. Um, and I guess, the way I kind of reconcile it or think about it is back to your point earlier, again, Paula, like a lot of people don't actually need clinical level support, right? Like when we studied, so we looked at, broader functioning in about 2000 of our ASH users. A lot of the gains we're seeing are the everyday things, right? Like they're feeling more satisfied with their relationships, they're sleeping better, right? Things like stress. It just the life transitiony things are a lot of what people are bringing to Ash. And Ash doesn't need to play therapist, right, to support people in those moments. It needs to be able to listen well, and it should be grounded in good clinical thinking. It should be there at hours that a human can't be there. It should be clear about where its boundaries are, right? Like of, this is something that's beyond what I can handle and steer people to a person in that moment. I think, the relationship people form with Ash is real, but also another kind of key safeguard is like we do not want Ash to be a companion. So it's not a therapist, it's not a companion, it's not trying to keep you there and just make you feel good. It's trying to establish some kind of true working alliance with the user, similar to how a therapist would, but explicitly not for therapy.
Yeah, and this last thing you said has me thinking, like, how can you do it supportive without like making it pretend to be a human therapist?
I mean, there's so many layers in some ways it's a new category, right? In some ways it's not. Like I think if I had to position it, I think of it almost like in between, if we think about a spectrum from like a therapist who's going to call you on things and like, really might be delivering some really hard challenge, like holding up to a mirror to you to look at things that are really hard to see about your own life, right? If that's one end of the spectrum. And then, you maybe have a coach somewhere along the way, and then you have a friend who's going to be like, just telling, right? Like a friend who's just hyping you up, amping you up, making you feel good and hear what you want to hear. Like Ash probably falls somewhere along that spectrum, but it might also be this other category, right? I think what's exciting about this work is so much of the relational stuff is still an open question, right? Anyone who tells you exactly where this a tool like this fits in terms of, it's analog to human relationships is lying. We just don't have that data yet. I think that's only going to emerge as we see people interact with these tools over time.